What's up, everybody? It's Rogue here, and we are back for another weekly challenge in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. This one is called Charge Vengeance. We're going for Athenian soldiers here, 15 with swords, 15 with spears, and 15 Athenian kills with the melee attack. Charged melee attack, sorry. But first things first, what we're going to do is we're going to find a fort that's controlled by Athenian soldiers. It can be any fort. I'm just, on my map, I just happen to be using the military fort of Walkthrogh. And you're going to go ahead and set a trap at the smoke alarm at inside the fort. That way you don't get a whole bunch of mercenaries rolling in on you and getting in your way while you're trying to do this. Now, number two, we're going to attempt to try to get our sword attacks and our charged melee attacks at the same time. This should be pretty easy to accomplish, although it can get tricky depending on your situation. This guy's going to go for the smoke alarm. Go ahead and let him do that, and he'll die there. But if you bide your time and be patient, you should be able to complete this and start racking up both your sword and your charged melee attack kills at the same time. So here we go. We're going to demonstrate this in here. Charge up our swords. Do remember that every time you dodge, you're going to have to recharge that melee attack. Okay? So that's one of the things that makes this kind of tricky. Because obviously you don't want to die and start over. And if these boys get the whoop on you, you're going to want to have to dodge too. So that's one of the things that makes it tricky. Okay, so there's two. Try to use that charged melee attack. And if you do run low on health, I recommend second wind ability for this, so that you can charge back up and keep going. Getting that charged melee kills finished and done and over with is going to be your best bet, because then you won't have to deal with any of this anymore, and it'll get easier after that. So here we go. That's number 4 out of 10. And right here I actually had a mercenary come in at me. I'm going to go ahead and skip that footage for you because it was a little bit long. But so now we're at 5 out of 10 because we took out that Athenian marksman. And another thing I recommend that you do, let's get rid of that weapon damage becomes poison damage on the sword. We don't want any elemental weapons because we don't want the poison killing the enemy instead of the sword attack. So we're going to switch to something that doesn't have poison. Here's one with 30% armor penetration. We'll go ahead and pick that. Okay? So definitely another good tactic is to avoid using weapons that have any kind of elemental attributes like poison or fire, because you don't want the enemy to die from poison, you don't want the enemy to die from fire, you want him to die from your charged melee attack. So we'll just demonstrate this. We had a little bit of skipperoo there, but that's okay. Another thing you want to do if you don't want the mercenaries coming in at you is to go ahead and pay off those bounties in your map menu. That way you don't have to worry about it. If you want to fight the mercenaries and collect some loot, more power to you. But we're going to go ahead and skip that for the interest of keeping this video as short as possible. So we're going to go at them again. Here we are at 8 out of 10 melee attack kills with the charged weapon. and we're at 10 of 15 with the swords. We're going to just go ahead and keep on plugging away as we have been doing. And as you're about to see, this situation can get pretty dicey if you get a lot of soldiers in on you. But like I said before, bide your time and have a little patience. We've only got one charged melee attack left. And then we'll be good. Definitely have your shield break ability also, so you can get rid of those guys. And we just finished the charged attack kills. We can actually go ahead and move on to spears. Now, also, if you notice, I also have a spear with poison damage. So we're going to change that out. Like I said, no elemental weapons. Griffin Scythe, 15% damage with spears. That'll do it. The problem with using the elemental weapons is that, say the guy that's affected with the green poison right there, let's say he died in the hallway where you just seen him, the doorway or whatever. That wouldn't count as a kill, okay? Because he died from the poison instead of the spear. He died from the poison instead of the sword, so, you know, if you want to use the elemental weapons, you can. But there is going to be a slight margin of error when you're using them. And for some players, that might get frustrating. So I just figured I'd throw that out there. Paying off the bounty so we can keep the fort clear of mercenaries. Doing that again. And all of these kills will now count towards spear. Except for probably that guy that flew off the cliff. Anyway, that's another good example. We just tossed him right off the cliff and he probably died that way. Or we might run into him later on. Maybe he's trying to figure out what to do with himself way over there right now. But anyway, I'm sure you get the idea by now. Just keep plugging away at them. These Athenian marksmen, they can be a challenge sometimes. But if you keep your attacks up, you should be able to just keep jabbing at him and hopefully avoid him gaining some distance on you and then pummeling you with arrows. So there we go, 12 out of 15, 4 out of 15. We're chugging along. There's a guy up here. We're gonna go knock him on his keister. Here we go. Awesome scene right there. Go at him with the sword. Pretty easy stuff. Like I said, you should pretty much have the idea by now. So, in order to continue this, I moved to a different fort. I was over here at the military fort of Glaw. This is in Boeotia. I don't know how to pronounce that. Anyway. And I fast traveled to the Temple of Artemis, and now I am at the Pharsalos fort. This is a pretty good fort to do this at because the way they have this fort set up here, you can kind of keep the battle contained in the back area and, you know, avoid a huge brawl that might take time. So that's kind of why I picked this fort. Plus, it was in an Athenian-controlled zone at the time I looked at my map. So, same song and dance. Set your trap. Keep mercenaries at a minimum, if not completely out of the equation. And we're just going to finish off our spear kills here. Pretty easy stuff, but you know, there's some tips and tricks in there for you to help you get this done faster, make it easier. So over here is the back side of this particular fort. So I'm gonna keep the battle contained over here rather than jumping down into the center of the court, you know, and basically getting everybody's attention. We're gonna do like a typical assassin would and keep the attention at a minimum level. Contain the situation, you know. And take them out with, you know, minimum residual presence pretty much. Couple more customers coming up the backside, no problem. We're still keeping this contained right now. There's a whole bunch of soldiers down in the courtyard area, the center of the fort. And they have no idea what's going on right now. So we're going to try to keep it that way. Remember that it has to be the sword that kills the enemy, it has to be the spear, and it has to be the charged attack. You can't use any of your special abilities like Hero Strike or anything like that, because that'll take away the kill. It has to be the specific blades and the specific attacks that are listed in the challenges list of things to do. So we got one other customer. He's searching around. He's onto us. We'll just go after him. We'll go after the one guy that's suspicious, instead of, like I said before, jumping down into wherever and getting alerted. So I hope this helps you out. Pretty easy challenge. Should be straightforward. Get it done. Get in and get out. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Give the video a like and a comment in the comment section below. And Ion Rogue out.